Hi there, my name is Nina Chiavaroli and I am the Director of Customer Success at 4R Systems. In case you missed the Connection series with me at NRF this year in January 2022, I discuss connecting the nuances of convenience and go over the special considerations that 4R can take into account when forecasting for fresh or prepared foods or even the QSR foods that we commonly see within convenience stores. Convenience stores have been expanding to offer more fresh and prepackaged meals for those on the go that want a decent meal, but these types of products have their own set of challenges. Some examples you can see on the right, such as grape cups, carrot and celery cups, wraps, or sandwiches. These items are all prepped within the store. And these items require fresh ingredients that have a short life. So timing and quantity of fresh ingredients is critical to ensure there's enough ingredients to make enough product to cover the demand, but not too much that can lead to spoilage. All fresh foods have expiration and likely need to be refrigerated, and the refrigerator doesn't have unlimited space. So it's critical that we account for these constraints within our order point suggestions. It's all about balance. We look to find the optimal order point that maximizes the balance between margin and the least amount of inventory cost, but we also need to layer in another level when it comes to fresh foods. What may be optimal may not fit in the fridge, which would lead to product spoilage, but having not enough could lead to lost sales. Or when we're talking about prepared foods, if you don't have enough of one ingredient, you could have lost sales in the full item. So let's think about sandwiches. If we're out of buns, you could lead to lost sales for multiple sandwiches. By leveraging inputs for obsolescence cost, expiration date, and shelf space, we lower that order point to a level that is still expected to capture the most sales with little to no product spoilage. But it's still not that simple. Space and time are not the only factors that we need to consider. We also need to consider how much of each ingredient is required to build the fresh food. And the challenge here is that ingredients span across different recipes. Back to my example of buns. You need a bun for an Italian sandwich and a regular ham sandwich. So to properly forecast the number of buns, you need to know the demand of all items that include buns. This is where collections forecasting is used. This methodology can also be used for QSRs or quick service restaurants. And next, I'll walk you through how that works. Let's use a QSR as an example to walk through collections forecasting. A lot of convenience stores do have quick service restaurants within them, but if not, a similar approach is used for their in-house prepared foods. This methodology considers the relationships between ingredients and the final sale item, whether that be just an entree, a combo, or a normal packaged item. By understanding what makes up the final sale item, we can take those total sales and break it down to the sales of each ingredient and forecast at either or both levels. Let's look at a very simple example. There obviously can be many more complex examples of combo makeups, but in the end, it comes down to valid recipe mapping and having that ingredient map properly laid out for us. So a cheeseburger in this example has 4 ingredients. A cheeseburger combo has 6 ingredients, but 4 overlap with the cheeseburger. You can also have sets, like nuggets in this example. We would have a separate sale SKU for a 2-piece and a 4-piece. Since we know the ingredient mapping of each item, we know how much demand is associated with each ingredient. We can then leverage that demand, upcoming seasonality, shelf space, expiration date, and other supply chain parameters we regularly receive to provide an order point for each ingredient. So let's look at that bigger picture. Again, this is a relatively simple example, but it illustrates the general approach. If we have sales for 250 cheeseburgers, 300 cheeseburger combos, a 200 two-piece nuggets, and 400 four-piece nuggets, this breaks down into 550 buns, 550 patties, 550 cheeses, 550 pickles, 15,000 fries, so on. So when we apply our methodology and we apply any constraints for shelf life, expiration, and other supply chain parameters, including seasonality and variability, we then forecast the demand and generate the order points at the ingredient level. In this example, the final ingredient order points are assuming we are forecasting sales of up to 30 combos, 20 cheeseburgers, 225 two-piece, and 450 four-piece nuggets. I think I said that wrong. 300 combos and 200 cheeseburgers. In summary, there are many nuances within collections, and Fora offers logic to mitigate the challenges that may arise. Let's review a few of them. Demand spoilage. If one SKU is out of stock within a given recipe, then the other ingredients required within that recipe could also be at risk. For example, if we are out of buns but have plenty of cheese, meat, and pickles, then we risk the cheese, meat, and pickles expiring because we can't create the item without a bun. There's also demand substitution. It's not all negative in the case of substitution, meaning if we're out of beef, maybe we see a rise in the chicken sandwiches. However, this can throw off the forecast if substitution isn't properly taken into consideration. So we offer logic to include the potential for substitution. We also offer tiered lost sales. Lost sales is always a major piece of our forecasts, and without considering lost sales, we leave some demand on the table. However, not all lost sales begin with a stock out. Tiered lost sales recognizes when a given SKU can sell in a set. If that set is not fully available, a portion of lost sales is applied. Similarly, multiple sale requirements. Here we consider how much of a given item is typically sold at once. This causes us to round our final order point to that multiple. For example, if nuggets are always sold in multiples of 2, we would never provide an order point of 31. We would round to 32. Lastly, variability. Our forecast engine always considers a level of variability. The average demand may be one number, in this example 500 per day, but depending on the store, that could be a range of 400 to 600 on a given day, or even 100 to 1,000. We consider variability and selling strength down to the SKU store level, and this helps us account for where certain stores are more variable or stronger selling than others for the same item. This is taken into account, and each SKU store is given a unique store fraction and forecast. Those are the major considerations I wanted to point out when forecasting for a collection of recipes, as they are a little more unique in certain scenarios and layered on top of our already complex forecasting engine. But they are a necessity in predicting how much is needed without over-ordering and risking revenue loss due to excess and expired ingredients. Thank you.